Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this month's Q&A video. This is the series where you can submit your questions about life, hobbies, wrestling, whatever it is that you want to know about. If you do want to be part of these videos in the future, make sure that you keep a lookout on the YouTube community tab because we usually source your questions there at the start of the month. This month, we received over 500 questions, so I obviously couldn't get to most of you considering I can only answer like 20 to 25 at a time. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications. If you're a wrestling fan, I know that you're gonna fall in love with his YouTube channel because we always upload daily wrestling content. By the way, I know that most of your questions don't get answered, but the fact is that most of the questions that I get are questions I've already answered in previous Q&A videos. So yeah, it kind of makes it difficult to get you involved if you're asking the same stuff over and over again. I'm just saying. By the way, if the daily wrestling videos that we post here just simply aren't enough for you, consider coming over to the Patreon. You already know, patreon.com/SantiZap. Check the link in the description, link in the pinned comment. Let's get to your questions. After Cena has retired, who will be your #1 favorite active wrestler? Okay, so if you've watched this channel for any like real significant amount of time, there's a really good chance that you probably already know the answer to this before I even say it. The answer is CM Punk. CM Punk has always been amongst my favorite WWE superstars of all time. It's the reason why I absolutely lost my mind when he returned back to the WWE. In fact, I still think that all of this isn't real. I think that there's like a 1% chance that I actually got into a horrible accident and that I'm in a coma and that I'm actually dreaming this entire timeline of CM Punk being back in the WWE because it still doesn't seem real that he's back here. However, making CM Punk my full-time favorite active WWE superstar when Cena retires isn't particularly the greatest idea either, considering his retirement is probably just around the corner, so I'm probably just gonna go through this cycle of pain over and over and over again as all of my favorite WWE superstars like the Rey Mysterios, the AJ Styles, as the Randy Ortons of the world are all going to be retiring in front of my very eyes. Folks, I am going to have a midlife crisis. So, I'll say Ilya Dragunov because it looks like he's still got plenty of juice left in his career and I'm not gonna have to have a funeral for his career anytime soon. Plus, he's just an unbelievable professional wrestler. From like an in-ring perspective, I would say he is definitively my favorite thing going on in WWE right now. If they can continue to develop his character a little bit more, I think they can have something truly special with Ilya Dragunov. And I've been following Ilya Dragunov's career for what feels like 6 years at this point, so I'm already very deeply invested in his success. So the answer is CM Punk, but let's talk about Ilya Dragunov instead as being my new favorite active. What is your favorite wrestling promotion right now? It is still WWE, but when I look at things a little bit deeper, I do think that AEW is the better product at the moment. Don't shoot me, I'm just saying what I'm seeing on TV. AEW has been delivering some pretty solid stuff here over the last couple of months. If I'm being super hyper specific, I will say that my favorite active promotion is actually NXT. NXT has actually been the most consistently good thing in all of professional wrestling for like the past 4 years. Anytime that NXT has a low, sometimes they get out of it like super quickly with like some banger PLE with a garbage ass looking card that has no business being anywhere near as good as it ultimately ends up being. Yeah, I think they've got something really special with NXT. I love the free flow that they currently have with TNA, with the main roster, with people from AAA. I love that they've got some veterans on the roster. I love that they've got some youngsters that are showing that the future of WWE is completely safe and intact. I think NXT is must-watch television for like the real hardcore wrestling fan because it's delivering, like I said, the most consistently good product month over month and year over year. If John Cena's retirement speech got cut off and the only way to save it would be by oiling up, would you do it? Luckily, it doesn't seem like that's going to end up being an issue in a hypothetical world where I could save John Cena's retirement speech by oiling up. Damn right, I'm going to lather up, baby. It does appear like this is not going to be a problem on Peacock anymore with Saturday Night's Main Event. As we saw in the last episode of Saturday Night's Main Event, they've removed commercials, which is one, the reason why they've always been so rushed with Saturday Night's Main Event, and part of the reason why Goldberg's speech was cut off short was because one, they didn't have enough time because of all the commercials, and two, there was a specific time that the show had to end so that NBC could air the next show, whatever that ended up being. But now that it's on Peacock, that it's only exclusively streamed on Peacock and on YouTube, there aren't commercials and there isn't a specific end time. So John Cena's retirement speech is not going to get cut off, which means, unfortunately for you and for Jelly Roll, apparently, I'm not going to be getting oiled up. After the Japan trip, what location is next on your bucket list, and what's your favorite place that you visited? Well, my favorite place to visit will always be my home country of Colombia, getting to see my family, taste the food of the country that I'm from, to be able to speak the language of the country that I was born in is always like a really special thing. Aside from that, I love the city of San Diego. It's one of my favorite cities in North America to visit, which is part of the reason why I'm making it my mission to go to Survivor Series War Games, because it's in San Diego. In terms of like what's next on the bucket list, me and the missus want to go to Italy next year, so that's what's next. Before John Cena, who used to be your favorite wrestler? So my first ever favorite wrestler was The Rock. I started watching in 2002, which means I didn't even get that much of The Rock either. I only got about a year and a bit of like witnessing the greatness of the great one, the Brahma Bull babyface Rock, who got booed out of the building with Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam 2002, and then seeing him reinvent himself into Hollywood Rock. Like, I got to see that portion of The Rock's career, and that was enough to make him my original favorite. Once The Rock left, it became Eddie Guerrero. Unfortunately, then Eddie Guerrero passed away, and then I was just sort of in limbo there for a little bit, trying to find like my next like guy to cling on to, and that's where John Cena came along, and John Cena has been my favorite ever since. Different kind of question, but what's the best piece of advice you can give to someone in their mid-20s that's just trying to go through life and find themselves? I think a really simple piece of advice is like, don't lose contact with your friends. That's something that I did, unfortunately. Like, I went full hermit mode on like my work and with my family, that I lost contact with a lot of like really valuable relationships that I made in college and in high school. And then now I'm in my 30s trying to rekindle those. Keep those alive in your 20s so that you are full of great relationships and friendships around you throughout the rest of your life. Because everybody gets busy once they get into their late 20s and their 30s. So use your mid 20s to make sure that you foster those really strong relationships so that they become friendships for life. There's like a million pieces of advices that I could give, but that's actually one I wish somebody gave me.
We're refusing to. Here we go. Oh, God, he barely made. Dude, there's a fire in the ring, dude.
He's getting caught. He's burning. Put him out.
Currently in AAA. Oh, God!
Oh, my God!
That was a sneak peek of this week's Horror Week Wrestling is Cool Match Club, available exclusively over on patreon.com/SantiZap. This week, we're going to be looking at the hellacious Hell in a Cell match between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. The 3 stages of Hell match between Stone Cold Steve Austin and Triple H. The infamous WCW Chamber of Horrors match from 1991. The barbed wire Christmas tree match from TNA. And The Undertaker and Kane in their famous 1999 Inferno match. You're going to be getting all of this, plus the Raw reviews, SmackDown reviews, the currently ongoing John Cena World Championship Series, and all of the videos and series that we've already uploaded there over on patreon.com/SantiZap. So go check it out. Link in the description, link in the pinned comment. We obviously can't post this stuff here on YouTube because it would just get blocked due to copyright. So go check it out over there. I'm confident that if you try it even for just 1 month, that you are going to fall in love with the content and the community. If you're already a patron, thank you so much for your support. Now let's get you back to the video. Did the jelly roll rub help you in any way? I do not like that phrasing, the jelly roll rub. Anyways, like, was there any spike in the views that you were getting before and after the jelly roll rub? So I certainly got a lot more engagement immediately. Like, when it happened, my phone was going absolutely crazy with notifications from Twitter, from Instagram, Facebook, people that don't typically watch my content, like friends and families, they were texting me. So that was pretty cool to see how far reaching the conversation between Chris Van Vliet and Jelly Roll was. It did give me a spike in engagement on the day of, but in terms of like long-term sustainable spikes where I can like make a big career shift out of, no, it's nothing like that. So I still have to continue to rely on myself to make the daily content to be able to get the engagement and the views that I need in order to be able to make a living. But yeah, it's pretty cool to see like just how many people in the community were engaged with everything that was going on with Jelly Roll on CVV. What do you think of BDE and the work that he has been putting on as a content creator and pro wrestler? First of all, I always have a tremendous amount of respect for anybody that can be in the content creator space. Like, I know firsthand how difficult this can be, how draining it can be from like a mental standpoint. So if you are able to put in the work to not only do this on a regular basis, but do it enough and long enough to be able to make it your career, like BDE has been able to do and like other players in the space have been able to do, immediate, instant respect for that. But then to be able to do all of that and then not just do like a one-off match, but like build like a proper like independent wrestling career out of it where he's winning championships and he was featured in TNA Bound for Glory, which by the way is their biggest show of the year. If you didn't know, that's like their WrestleMania. So it's like a huge deal. I can't even fathom the work ethic to be able to pull that off. So yeah, the respect is already like there, but now it's like on another stratosphere. I have a tremendous amount of admiration for people that can make shit happen because so many people will just say that they're gonna do it. So many people are just talk. So when I can actually see somebody not just talk about it, but actually put in the work, pull up their socks and do it, that is beyond respect. That is admiration. Will you celebrate anything for 500,000 subscribers? Probably. I don't know what. I'm still pretty far away. I'll probably get to like 500,000 subscribers by WrestleMania season. I get a big bump in subscribers every time that we're like in the lead up from like Royal Rumble to WrestleMania. But in terms of like what I'm going to do, I have no idea. Maybe we'll do a nice little trip, a nice little vlog to celebrate. Will you be going to John Cena's retirement? Yes, I am confirmed to be going. As far as I know, we should have our flights and hotels by the time that this video airs. What I don't have are the tickets. I am now in the economy of waiting like literally day of to buy the tickets. My understanding is that ticket prices plummet significantly as ticket scalpers and resellers panic to try and at the very least make some money back on their investment, and they offload some of the premium seating for a very reasonable price. So I'm actually gonna be going, and I'm probably going to be in Washington DC with no ticket at all. But yeah, like right before the doors open, I'm gonna be jumping on all of the different ticketing apps and finding the best deal possible. Do you think Penta will ever win a world title? Okay. I think it'd be cool. I don't think so. Like with the current state of WWE seemingly being such a closed off boys club in the main event, where it seems to just be so difficult to become a new face in the main event, even if you are an incredible worker like a Penta, it tells me that there probably is no room for Penta in WWE's mind for a world championship. Certainly like mid-card titles, tag titles, I could see that happening left, right, and center for Penta, even though that still has yet to happen. But a world title, I mean, I'd love to be wrong, but from what I see from WWE's creative juices, I see them never giving an opportunity to Penta as a world champion. Hey Santi, have you ever gone to any wrestling show with your girlfriend? Yes, I've actually dragged her to a couple of shows, a couple of indie shows. We've gone to an NXT show, and she's actually going to be coming with me to Survivor Series War Games as well, so that should be fun. If you were given the choice to extend the John Cena retirement tour for another year, would you? Are you satisfied with what they have given to us? I don't think I would extend it. I think that I'm ready emotionally for the retirement to happen. All right. I'm sure that there would be other cool things that I'd love to see in John Cena's retirement run if we got another year. But I don't think that you can extend a retirement run for 2 years. I think we've gotten the right amount of time with our hero, with our GOAT, to be able to say goodbye. And that's truly what's special about being able to have a retirement tour. People are calling this retirement tour a failure. It's just not. It was never going to be a failure because the success of a retirement tour was us being able to say goodbye to John Cena, to be able to see John Cena have a final run, to be able to see John Cena end the career on his own terms. Most wrestlers don't ever get to do that. Most wrestlers don't even know when their final match is going to be. Most wrestlers are forced to have their final match without even knowing that it's their final match because of injuries, they get too old, whatever it might be. But we are in a very lucky, privileged situation with John Cena to actually be able to say goodbye to him, and we got to say goodbye to him for an entire year. Were there stuff in the retirement tour that from like a wrestling narrative and booking perspective wasn't great, wasn't ideal? Of course not. I'm never going to defend defend those, but I will defend the fact that we got to see a John Cena retirement, and that to me is a win in general. We got to see our GOAT say goodbye. Am I satisfied? Yes. Could it have been better in terms of just objectively better wrestling and narrative? Sure, absolutely it could have. What, quote, can they coexist? Tag team would you love to see? For me, it's got to be Ilya and Gunther. I think that's a good one. I'm going to go with the super answer, which is Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. Will they ever be able to coexist? Will there ever be a greater evil that it will require these two mortal enemies to come together to vanquish it? That to me is the ultimate, will they be able to coexist? As a fan who recently started watching around Survivor Series 2023 due to Punk's return, do you think that the product as overall is getting better or worse? I remember watching during 2012 and 2015, and to me, the product has gotten better, but what do you think, Santi? Newer fans will tell you that the product is getting absolutely horrible and the worst that it's ever been. Older fans will tell you that we are in still a very good, healthy period of professional wrestling. Here's how I see it, all right? 2010s, we're down here, all right? And then in 2022, 2023, 2024, we got up here. It got to be arguably the best time to be a professional wrestling fan ever, all right? We're here, all right? It's getting worse compared to what was up here, but it's still way better than this garbage down here. So overall, yeah, I think the product is getting better. I do think that we had a peak, that it might be a while until we can surpass those levels, but in general, overall, when I encompass the last 15 years of the product, it's still night and day. It's still way better. With WWE posting about Edge, do you think that he might return for Cena's last match? Those devils, those bastards, whoever is running the WWE Vault channel, you are an evil human being. They uploaded a 1 hour history of John Cena and Edge's career. They know what they're doing. They know what's gonna drum up engagement. Those harlots over there are getting us to talk about on this day. Will we see clearly? Will Adam Copeland actually go from AEW to WWE to face John Cena in his retirement? I still think the answer is no. I do think it's not impossible that when Cena retires in the ring at the end of Saturday night's main event, they do something like what they did for Ric Flair after WrestleMania 26. All of these superstars coming out. When Undertaker came out and did an homage to Ric Flair, I don't think it's impossible that we might get Edge in that environment, to come say goodbye to Cena, but I don't know that it's going to be a full-fledged match. Will you be doing content in San Diego for Survivor Series? I would love to meet you, Santi. Yes, I will be doing a vlog. I always do a vlog for the PLEs that I go to. I don't go to very many, so whenever I do go, I tend to make a vlog about it, and they're usually some of my best videos, if you ask me, so I can't wait to make this vlog. I actually also interview viewers, I can get your opinion on whatever is going on in the current state of professional wrestling. So if you see me with a microphone around the city of San Diego, don't be afraid to approach me. Who dethrones Ilya? I think it's going to be Ilya Dragunov or Carmelo Hayes, one of those two right there. Maybe WWE will bring up Obafemi and will immediately catapult him to superstardom by having him win a championship right off the bat. That seems like the type of guy that WWE would do it for. However, from a narrative perspective, I think that there's something special there with Carmelo Hayes being able to vanquish The Miz after separating from him and eventually being able to go off on his own so that they can revive the fantastic NXT feud between Ilya and Carmelo Hayes, which gave us some unbelievably good matches. Do you have a backup profession or anything as such in case YouTube and all of it doesn't work out much? Well, I would say that it's worked out. I'm doing pretty good for myself across all of the different platforms. I appreciate your concern, but I think I'm past I hope this works out. I think it's worked out, and if it doesn't work out, I need to make it work. And I say this because, yeah, I had a profession, but now I'm 3 years removed from doing my old job. I don't think that any company is going to take me at this point. So damn it, I need to make this work out for the long term, long enough for me to be able to retire. So please like and subscribe, all right? How has having WWE knowledge affected you as a fan? That's a really interesting question. It has affected me a lot. I do think that being too deep into the weeds and having your nose in the dirt sheets, it does impact the overall enjoyability of the show. For example, when Rey Mysterio came back, I had already been reading the rumors that he was going to come back to to set up a match against Dominic Mysterio. So it wasn't this shock and awe that I wish that it was. So yeah, it kind of damages the product, especially like in the long term for yourself. If you have too much knowledge about like the ins and outs of the product, what's going on, dirt sheets, all of that stuff, it can impact the overall enjoyability of the show, unfortunately. More than anything, I would say that it impacts the shock and awe of certain moments that should be surprises, but because you ruin it for yourself ahead of time, they aren't. All right, folks, thank you so much for submitting in your questions for this month. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Goodbye. Get out of here.